And then on the 9th, we have Ash Silva. On the 10th, we have Solomon Stride. On the 16th, Savannah Stone. The 17th, Madness. On the 23rd, we have Vegan Thunderbolt. On the 24th, we have Guillermo. On the 29th, which is a Monday, we have Cornboy Kevin Gutierrez. On the 30th, we have Keyshawn Calloway. And on the 31st, we have Zombie Dragon. And then on August 6th, we have Green Phantom. So a lot of interviews coming up for Wrestling Wit. Definitely keep up with our social media to check out all of these interviews. And, you could hit the notification button on our YouTube page for when these interviews will be coming out. Alright, now that we're done putting ourselves over, well, myself, I'm only one here now, it was not a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And a couple of days ago, we lost one of the greats. Sika of the Wild Samoans has unfortunately passed away at the age of 79. It truly sucks when we lose a member of the wrestling family. Obviously, Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans, one of the more iconic tag teams of that time period. They was a three-time WWF Tag Team Champions. Sika even challenged Bob Backlund and Hulk Hogan for the WWE Championship at one point. And obviously, a part of one of the greatest bloodlines in pro wrestling history, the NOI family. So truly a tragedy. And I will say this, as much as it sucks to lose Sika of the Wild Samoans, you know, he got to witness Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is his son. He got to witness his whole entire run as WWE champion. One of the most iconic runs in all of pro wrestling. He got to see everything, every little bit of it. And personally, I think that's a great. I personally think that was great. And again, it sucks, but he was 79 years old. He lived a long and fulfilled life. Obviously, he had Roman Reigns, Rosie, and just rest. What I could say is rest in power. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family of Sika. Alright, on an interesting bit of news that was said this week, Bianca Belair invited Caitlin Clark to be a part of the Royal Rumble next year in Indiana. Clark plays for Indiana in basketball. I know it's just she's throwing that out there. It's only spectating at this point, room and innuendo, as you say. But if she was to do it, it definitely would grab some headlines, I would say. It would be interesting to see. And whenever it comes to celebrities coming into pro wrestling, it's either a fist toward her or a cat toward her. There's not really too many in betweens. So I could see her actually, maybe doing really well in WWE. Maybe when the whole basketball thing comes up, maybe a WWE career. Who knows? I mean, she's a really big star in that arena right now. Whether you like her or you don't, I I personally don't know. I don't follow basketball, and Kaliko's not here to tell me. Uh, or she could just maybe not be that great at it. A la Chad Gable Stevenson. So, it's always 50-50. You never necessarily know what you're going to get when you have an athlete come from a different um, arena than yourself. So I do think that it would be interesting to see her do something with WWE. Um, Whether or not it would be successful would purely be up to her. Um, that being said, Indiana will host the Royal Rumble, and in future years it will hold SummerSlam and WrestleMania. So that's already confirmed at this point. Um, Great for Indiana. I don't know a lot of people that would necessarily want to go to Indiana for WrestleMania, if I'm being honest, but I'm sure WWE is getting paid a lot of money to do it, so um, they're going to be happy about that. And wherever Mania is, people will come, whether or not there are things to do around in that area. Um, it is interesting to have three of WWE's four big events in the same arena. Um, I don't think that's been done before. Um, Especially leading up to a WrestleMania, like doing Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Mania, and ending with WrestleMania in that arena when they've been in that arena two times already. Like for instance, Ford Field hosted WrestleMania in 2007. Ford Field didn't get SummerSlam until 2023. Quite a long stretch before they've had wrestling in that building again. So it's kind of, I want to see how they handle it. I'm interesting. I'm interested to see. Um, and I guess we will see. On keeping up with more WWE news, Donovan Dijak um, has left WWE. Also, Kayla Braxton as well. From what I've heard, Dijak asked for his release. Kayla Braxton just did not renew her contract. Two very different situations, but kind of tells you where Dijak was when it seems like a bigger loss to WWE that they're losing Kayla than an actual pro wrestler like Dijak. No shade to Dijak, but he didn't necessarily have it all together. Great in the ring, maybe not the best at the mic. Um, could have did better with that whole. Oh fuck it. Um, how are you going to make the name T-Bar work? I mean T-Bar, and you're WWE champion T-Bar. Fuck no. Um, to some degrees, it was kind of doomed from the start, but you know, it's just maybe he'll put it back together on the independents. I would say he'd go back to Ring of Honor, but there is no Ring of Honor now. It's a little indie promotion in the woods that Tony Khan magically thinks of. on his cocaine high. I miss you, Scooter. Um, yeah, and Kayla, I think she's best known for having some rather interesting altercations with Paul Heyman. But she was always a good, interesting part of the team um, for WWE. I do think that it's uh, maybe a bigger loss that they lost her than Dijak, and that explains a lot about Dijak. Now, from losing to gaining, Brit Baker might be making her return sooner rather than later. Maybe as early as tonight, as Forbidden Door is going to be later today. I'm just wondering where does Brit Baker fit at this point. She's been out since September of last year. Um, Almost an entire year. Um, you can't. I mean, you could put her against Tony, but nothing's going to touch Tony right now. Tony is um, Tony's untouchable at this point. You, I don't feel like anybody would accept her losing that championship to anybody at this time. She's on the roll. She's on that high. So much that they gave Mercedes the TBS championship rather than the main women's champion. Um, that's another topic. Um, can I see Britt Baker beating Mercedes for her championship? No, not right now. I don't see her losing that championship anytime soon as well because you don't. I mean, she literally just got it. I mean, what are they going to do? Let a major star drop a title and after getting it 2 months earlier? Who does that? Roderick Strong, possibly Swerve Strickland, depending on what happens tonight. But I digress. Yeah, but I don't think Tony is a very flavor of the month, and unfortunately, Britt Baker is flavor of last year. If she's going to do anything, it's going to be with the mid-carders, with possibly Paige, Soraya. Um, I know Chris Statlander's doing some heel stuff right now. Does anybody care? So yeah. If Britt Baker makes a re-debut in the woods, does anybody care? Speaking of re-debuts, um, there are allegations to why Ricky Starks isn't on TV right now. Um, Somebody on the Squared Circle Reddit page, so you know that it came from an accurate, well received news source. Yeah, Reddit Squared Circle. Um, it said that Ricky Starks got into a bar fight a couple of months ago when they were in Toronto. Um, and he ran into some legal problems, and that was a factor in why he hasn't been on TV. And for the simple fact that, also the fact that he has been turning down the stories pitched to him. Uh, I could absolutely believe the latter. Um, you know, if you're going to pitch horseshit, then obviously the guy isn't going to want to do it. Um, you know, he ran with the Big Bill story, and he fortunately he made it work. And you can't have you can't throw somebody into random storylines and expect them to make everything work and make sense. So I absolutely could see him not wanting to do anything that they have pitched because a lot of what they would want him to do wouldn't necessarily make sense for him and his character. You know, to some point you do have to, put your foot down. I do feel like maybe Ricky. Well, I know Ricky is definitely unappreciated in AEW, and I might feel like he is maybe waiting his contract out to maybe go to greener pastures, wherever that may be. To the allegations about him getting into a bar fight and legal issues, um, rumor and innuendo, AEW has not said anything about that or that anything of that nature has happened. Um, I mean, it could have still happened, but the news source is a rando from Reddit. So, you can't necessarily take that as gospel, if I'm being honest. Um, on a sad bit of news for, you know, the simps of pro wrestling, Mommy got married. Rhea Ripley is now a Sadie, a married lady. She married some indie performer. Um, Not a big name. Don't really know who the guy is, but yeah. So I know some people will be taking bets of how long this lasts. I might be putting my throwing some money down on that as well. But who knows? Maybe they could make it work. And all that bit of news. Two Skull Scorpio stabbed the motherfucker. I don't know how. I don't know why. I know he got arrested for it, but yeah, he stabbed somebody. So I'm sure he had a good reason. Maybe it was maybe it was John Cena in that club that one time. For anybody that remembers that. Alright, that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.